Good evening, good evening, good evening. So I got to show you the shirt first. All right. All right. So I'm too sexy for my hair. That's how come it isn't there. I'll go this way so you can see it. There we go. I know. I see you. Now stop. Uh, uh. So anyway, Rob got me this shirt. Rob and his wife picked that up. They were out at a flea market or somewhere, and they saw it. And he goes, "I saw the shirt, and we knew we had to get it for you." And I said, "Well, I appreciate that." All right. So we are gonna, yeah, flea market. I'll tell you what, flea market, estate sales, garage sales. I absolutely love them. So we're gonna talk about a bunch of different stuff here today. But before we start with anything, I just want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches are going to boot you out of here. All right. So we're not going to tolerate that. Just another announcement really quickly. I'll be live streaming again on Tuesday. So Tuesday at 8 o'clock for everyone. Tuesday at 6 o'clock for my hardcore members. If you would like to join us and be a hardcore member, go to my main page here on YouTube, hit the join button, become a hardcore member, and then you can join us. I do a private live stream for them once a week. Okay. So, all right. Was it 118 watching, 45 thumbs up? Well, I see 126 watching and 44 thumbs up. So, what are you doing here? We're not doing this again. No, we are not. No, we are not. She was very much a snot in the private live stream. Okay, Hella, that's enough now. Down, baby. Before I started live streaming, she was laying here behaving. I don't know what her deal is. You're talking to somebody else. Uh, all right. So, a couple things that, excuse me. So, I had a comment, and I did want to address the comment, and I did reply to them. Uh, oh, yeah, she's been out. I took her out, Mary. Remember, I let her out before the end of the live stream. And I went out and went and checked eggs and came back in, and I called and she came right away. So yeah, she was fine. All right. So I had posted, right, and I said I had made this statement before, and I felt that Trump would win the election. All right. And that between now basically and January 20th, that something might happen. Now, I didn't say, oh, it's definitely going to happen. I said something might happen. I honestly hope nothing happens. I hope the transition goes smoothly. I hope Trump, does everything he has promised to do. If the Republicans well, they're definitely going to have control of the Senate. And it looks like they're going to have control of the House as well. That means for the first 2 years of the presidency, if they want to, remember how I say this, if they want to, they can get a lot of good things done. So we shall see. Okay. Absolutely, time will tell. But anyway, so I had said this in the video, and this guy comes on and says, you need to stick to prepping. Nothing is going to happen. All right. So thank goodness. I mean, he must be a seer. He must be able to rub his crystal ball and know what the future is. And I feel so much better knowing that everything's going to be fine because this guy said so. It's just very, very comforting for me. I'm going to sleep a whole lot better knowing that he has all the answers. The reality is this, folks. Anything can happen at any time. Okay. Wish I could have said I thumbs down that comment. Well, it's just anybody's entitled to their opinion, and I don't care. Now, am I going to make fun of you if I think you're being stupid? Realistically, absolutely, yes, I am. Okay, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. But it's naive to think that everything is going to be just perfect and no problems and everything else, But we will see what happens. Okay. my thing is this, again, always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. I hope that the transition goes well. I hope Donald Trump does everything he said he's going to do, and we will see what happens. I'm not going to stop prepping, folks. If we get 4 years of Donald Trump and the economy's booming and things are going great, I'm not going to stop prepping, because eventually something will happen regardless. Okay. Be it man-made, be it natural disaster, be it an attack on our country of some form or another, something will happen. It's just a matter of time. So to me, I look at where our weaknesses are, which, and I've said this before, guys, okay, our weaknesses are the power grid. That is our Achilles heel. I talked in my earlier live stream a little bit, and I want you to think about the younger generation now. Does the younger generation carry cash, or do they all just have a card, right? They don't, not all, some do, but a lot of them don't carry cash. They just don't. Everything is on a card. Everything that they do is on a card. If the power grid goes down, okay, which it has and it will again, in different parts, and this part's affected and the grid's down and all those type of things, that is going to happen. Those people are lost. So if you think about it on a large scale, excuse me, note, how devastating would that be? Because again, they don't have cash on them, and cash is only going to be good for a very short window. Remember that as well, okay? Remember that as well. Cash is only going to be good for a very short window, because once people realize that it's worthless in a true event, okay, um, they're not going to take cash then. So be smart, be as prepared as you can be. I'm always going to advocate preparedness. That's just what I do. That's what I live by. I sleep easier at night knowing that I'm ahead of the curve. Okay. Now, am I where I want to be? Absolutely not. Okay. I'm not even close to where I want to be. Am I getting there as each month goes by? Each month goes by. What about an EMP attack? I don't think we're going to see an EMP attack, because if somebody was looking to attack the country, okay, and that's a good question, Alex. I appreciate you asking that. I don't think it'll be an EMP attack, because that would destroy all the infrastructure. And they don't, anybody that was wanting to take over doesn't want to do that, right? They want the infrastructure intact. So if you kill the power, it doesn't affect the infrastructure. So when the power gets turned back on, those things, dams and hydraulic stuff and all that, would work again. So I honestly believe the smartest way, if you're going to attack this country, and I've said this so many times, and I'll say it again, you go after the power grid, you sit back, and you let us eat each other, because that's exactly what we will do. How many folks were really paying attention what happened up in Asheville, right? You heard, oh, there's this problem, and and everything like that. But what you were not hearing about a lot, right? How after 3 days, and there was fights, and there was anger, and there was a lot of resentment from people, because they didn't have basic needs, basic supplies for the things that they needed. So there was, a lot of tension, a lot of problems because of that. Okay. Now, eventually, there was a tremendous outpouring of private donations that went in, and people bringing in supplies to really help the area and try to get things open back up and stuff, which was absolutely fantastic. Okay. What are we at? 259 in the chat. We're at 89 thumbs up, guys. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I really do appreciate that. It makes a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon for all notifications as well. And I thank you for that as well. So put this into perspective. We're talking about a very small area, Asheville. How big is Asheville? It's not that big, realistically, okay? Chimney Rock, that whole area was affected by what happened. Now, large scale, right? If it's a countrywide event and the grid is down all over the place, Nobody's coming to help because they can't. Okay. They have to focus on what they can control in their communities to try to make things okay in their communities. So there's not going to be this huge outpouring of help coming into one small community, which is what happened, which was, like I said, again, fantastic. Think about it like this. If you're in the Northeast, let's say you live up in Minnesota. We'll use Minnesota as an example because they get a tremendous amount of snow up in Minnesota. Power grid goes down. Nothing's working. First snowstorm that rolls in, right? Plows aren't running because they can't get gas. So you are going to be stuck wherever you are until either the power does eventually come back on or spring comes. Now, again, I will say this, and I've said this many, many, many times. 93% of the people in this country are not prepared for a 2-week disaster. They're not prepared for that. They're not ready in any way, shape, or form. So to me, I look at that situation, and that is a nightmare waiting to happen. Think about if you're in your home and you can't leave because you can't get out anywhere. You can't get in your car and go drive anywhere, right? Because number one, you don't have the gas. The roads aren't plowed. There's no way to get anything. And everybody else, for the most part, is in the same exact boat. How quickly will things turn violent when people don't have what they want? And we're not even going to talk about your alcoholics that don't have enough booze, your drug addicts that don't have enough pills or whatever else they're taking. Okay. Nobody's going anywhere. So you have one group of people coming down, right? You have another group of people that are going through the DTs because they don't have their alcohol. And then you have everybody else trying to deal with the situation. And what are you going to do? So you have to really think about the big picture of stuff and how people will act and what they will do. It can turn really, really ugly really, really quickly. So the more you're ready for that, and even on guys on a small scale, if you have a 2-week supply of food and water, you know what that gives you? It gives you the opportunity to sit in your home and make a plan because you're not from day 3 going, holy crap, we don't have any fresh water. Holy crap, we don't have any food. What are we going to do? You have time. That's what prepping buys you. Prepping buys you time. And like what we're doing down here as a community, okay, we are preparing to be ready for a long term event if needed, right? And in the meantime, so like people will say, well, you got all these buildings and people are stocking them up, and, you know, what's going to happen if nothing happens? Well, if nothing happens, then I have a bunch of people that I consider my family are going to be able to come down here whenever they want and hang out, enjoy nature, and be able to relax and get away from all the nonsense. You know what I mean? So, but again, you have to think about all those things and try to plan accordingly. Um, there's a lot that goes into everything. And, we've been slowly working on trying to take care of the things that are very important. Obviously, food and water are critical. Infrastructure is critical. Being able to have not one source of power, meaning my solar system, but having more available, everybody else having, solar set up and doing that and getting that going, getting their places squared away and having that wood stove in there. Because if you're here full time and, it's winter time, and even though the winters down here in West Virginia are not anywhere near like they were when I lived in New York, it still gets cold. And so, you want to be able to stay warm. So it's all that planning and getting ready and making sure you have plenty of firewood. Will you stop? Why are you being this way today? You're fine. You're fine. Yes, you are. No. Now go on now. That's enough. Behave yourself. I think she's pregnant. Okay. So I'm pretty sure she's pregnant. She feels to me like she's a little bit bigger. So I'm hoping that she is. And if she's going to have puppies, it would be about the 10th. Ed, are you putting a wood stove in the camper this year? No, I'm not going to do that this year. I plan on start building. Hopefully, next year I want to build my own building because I want it to be a little bit bigger than they would be able to bring in here. So yeah, that's why she's being needy, and she could be, but I want to build something, and I have a game plan in my head of what I want to do. No, she doesn't have to go out. She was just out here less than half an hour ago, so she's already been out. But do you have a battery blanket around your batteries, or is it not cold enough for that? Well, Mary, what I have, I keep extra lights. Like, so first of all, my battery room is very, very insulated. I went with 3/4 inch plywood on the outside walls, and I went with 3/4 inch plywood on the inside walls. So, absolutely, yes, overkill. But I also have lights that I can run in there. So when it gets colder, I just plug in the light, into the camper, and the lights stay on, and that gives off a little bit radiant heat. The charge controller will kick off some heat as well. So it really doesn't get below freezing. It will definitely doesn't get below freezing in there. I think the coldest that it got in there was like maybe 45, 50 degrees when it was really, really cold here. So no, they've actually held up really, really well. But if she's pregnant, she's got to pee a lot. I don't see that at this point. I think once she gets a little farther down the road, we'll see. But now she don't have to pee though. She's just being a snot. I know. I've had this dog for 4 years. I know how she is. So, but but anyway, like I said, I'm always going to continue to encourage you guys to prepare. Now is not the time to rest on our laurels and go, oh my God, yes, Trump got in. We're great. Next 4 years are going to be fantastic, and there's not going to be any problems. You can't say that with all certainty because we don't know. I mean, that's the reality. We don't know. Love that shirt, Ed. I have the same hair do that you have. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, isn't that fun? A fun shirt. Yeah, when he goes, I got something for you, and I'm like, what do you got? And he goes, it's in that bag. So I opened it up and I looked at it. I was like, oh, that's awesome. But but yeah, anyway, so we're getting there where we need to be here. And so like I said, I have a tremendous amount of concerns. You got to remember too, folks, there are a lot of sleeper cells in this country. It is estimated, I think, and I don't quote me on this because I don't know 100%, but I have been told that there are at least 4,000 sleeper cells in this country. That's a lot of people that can do a lot of damage when they decide to. Okay, and again, a coordinated attack on the power grid is not going to have us without power for a week. The transformers that are built for the big transformers, they're not even built here. So you could be looking, all right, and I want you to think about this. You would be looking at a prolonged event 6 months to a year and a half. Now, will there be pockets that have power? And I've talked about this before as well, okay? And I want you to think about this. If I want to control the people, right, where can you control the people the best? It's in the cities, right? So if you have some event that happens, and let's say I'm in charge, right? I'm the guy that's in charge, and I say, okay, listen, we have power up and going in New York City, right? We got the island it's secure, it's safe. You can come here. You're going to have medical care. You're going to be able to do everything that you need to do, right? But with stipulations of what you can and cannot do. Are you going to give up your rights and freedoms for the semblance of safety, right? You got to think about that, okay? Because that could absolutely happen, okay? But Ed, do you think Trump will put? I don't know what you mean by that. I have no idea what you mean by that. But there would be pockets, I believe, that would have power, and people, by human nature standard alone, will gravitate to those spots because they're unprepared. So the more prepared you are to deal with that type of situation, you can go, I don't care about that. I'm going to where I have people that got my back, that we're prepared, that we have things in place, and do what we have to do, you know. Heather P said, Ed, you were the reason I started prepping when I found your channel, and I believe Believe me, it helped me when Helena hit my town. So thank you. I appreciate you saying that, Heather. I really do. That's to me, that type of statement makes me feel really, really great because if I wake up a few people and a few people start to prepare and are ready for whatever may, and again, guys, it doesn't always have to be the end of the world as we know it. Remember that. It doesn't have to be that, you know. Do you think Trump will put tariffs on Canada? It's hard to say. If he doesn't get his way, there is that possibility. There really is. If you look at the first time when Trump was in and he put the tariffs on China, because everything was in China's favor. Everything was in China's favor. He also, if you guys remember, said other people in NATO need to step up and start contributing more because the US was funding the majority of what gets sent in, to NATO. And so there's a lot of things that I think that he can do. We need here in the United States, we need to get back to America first. Okay. Now I've already seen a bunch of these governors, saying, well, they're going to come through me for my people. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, governors of all these liberal states. If somebody's here illegally, they're not your people. They're here illegally. Okay. So if he starts rounding people up and sending them back to where they came from, and you got to understand, guys, it's not just people from South America. You have a whole bunch of people from different countries that poured in through here with really nothing. It has to stop. It has to stop. We cannot take care of everyone. We're not taking care of our own people here in the United States. So why do these people think that we're going to, well, because this administration that's in power right now basically opened the doors and said, come in and we'll take care of you. Well, that's got to stop. I don't have a problem with somebody coming into this country the right way. I don't. And I don't care where they're from. I don't care what color they are. And I don't care what language they speak. If you want to come to America, do it the right way, work hard, get ahead, then do it. I will tell you this right now. The hardest working people, in my own opinion, I'm giving you my opinion, guys, okay? Hardest working people are Asians number one, and I don't care if you're Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese. Those type of people from over there, they will work 16 hours a day. They will have 8 to 12 people all living in the same house. They'll pay that house off. Look at all the Chinese restaurants that are out there, and they're all family run. It's all family in there, okay? And they all live together, and they commune together, and they work together, right? Americans, what do? We have me, the wife, and the kids, and screw everybody else. And it makes it that much harder. But when you have people working together, it makes things a whole lot easier. We need, and again, this is strictly my opinion, we need to, do you think the illegals will go to Canada? A lot of the illegals are coming from Canada into the United States. They're coming here too. So who knows? It depends on how long Canada keeps allowing Trudeau to be in power. To be honest with you, that's part of the problem. Realistically, So it's just what was I was thinking of something that I watched. Well, what do we got? We're up to 415 in the chat, guys. Got 160 thumbs up again. Please, if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I thank you ahead of time. It really does make a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure that you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you for that reason as well. Like I said, there's a lot of things to be concerned about. Natural disasters are going to continue to happen no matter what. They're not going away, right? So the next hurricane will be coming. The next tornado is going to hit. There's going to be a flood somewhere. There's going to be forest fires. There's going to be earthquakes. There's going to be mudslides. There's going to be drought, right? There's going to be ice storms. There's going to be blizzards. And this is every year, folks. This doesn't go away. So, and here's another thing to think about in your mind, what you need to think about. In a true SHTF event, when those events happen, nobody's coming to help. Nobody's coming to dig you out. Nobody's coming to clear the trees and clear the roads and repave the roads and all that type of stuff. They're going to be done, and that's it. That's going to be the end of it. So, again, you need to think, where do I want to be? What do I want to do? What kind of preparedness do I want to do? Am I thinking I'm going to do it solo on my own and take care of everything? Or am I going to get involved with a group that has the same moral compass, if you will, that I do, and that we're on the same path? You know, again, there's such a misconception when it comes to preparedness and prepping, right? Because of shows like Doomsday Preppers that paints preppers as crazy in a bad light. You're preparing for XYZ event, but we're going to show you how minuscule XYZ event can be. Well, the reality is, as preppers and people that prepare, we prepare for whatever may happen. We're not preparing for one event. That would be the stupidest thing that you could possibly do. Now, those shows, right, like Doomsday Preppers, guys, I was approached by Doomsday Preppers. I was approached by a couple other shows, and they wanted me, a same thing, to pick one reason why I prepare, right? They wanted me to say, I'm getting ready for XYZ event. And and then they said, well, we want you to show, all your guns and all this type of stuff. Again, putting that paintbrush out there. Look, here's another crazy person. And I told them, I said, listen, if I do your show, I'm not going to say I'm preparing for one event. Number one, that's number one. Number two, I'm not showing my guns, because that is something that anybody that prepares should already have. They should already have those things, okay? It's probably one of the first things a lot of people get when they get prepared. I will tell you again, and I've said this in the past, it's been a while since I said this. Here is my rule of thumb, okay? My rule of thumb is this when it comes to preparedness weapons wise. For every weapon that you have, if you have one shotgun, the minimum, notice what I'm saying here, the minimum amount of rounds that you should have would be 2,000 rounds. If you have two shotguns, you should have 4,000 rounds per weapon. So if you got two 9mm pistols, you should have a minimum of at least 4,000 rounds. Now, having said what the minimum is, what do you think the maximum is, right? There is no maximum. So if you stock up and have 10,000 rounds for one weapon that you have, that's great. But you better have at least 2,000 rounds for every weapon that you have, simply because when that time comes, when your ammo runs out, you have a club, period. Hey, Timothy. Hey, Ed, check out KLW World News. Putin has posted nudie model pics of Trump's wife all over the news in Russia. Oh, really? I hadn't seen that. Had not seen it. Well, she was like a model before they got together, wasn't she? I think she was. I have no idea. So, well, that would not be fun. And it's just trying to be insulting if that's true. If that's true. So, but now here's the thing is, shows like Doomsday Preppers and stuff like that, you can pick up some good tips. Don't get me wrong. I watch those shows, but I also watched how they would try to break those people down and make them look like they were crazy, or they would get certain people, to discredit, um, you know, the community of prepping and stuff like that. So, I mean, because I've had conversations with people, and I've had people say to me, "Oh, so you're a doomsday prepper?" I go, "I have never, ever once, ever used that term describing myself." JJ said they weren't news; they were just modeling pics. Okay, so what? Who cares, right? Who cares? But thank you for the donation too, by the way, and thank you for the statement. But you know, I'll give you an example of something. When I was still in New York, I had a bunch of people that I was talking to, and we were, thinking about putting a group together. And so I said to everybody, listen, everybody's going to come to my place. I want everybody to bring your bug out bags, right? And we're going to compare what you have in your bug out bag compared to what I have in mine. and those type of things. So everybody brings their bug out bags and everybody's sitting around. And so first of all, there was two ladies that were there, and their packs were about we because we weighed them. Their packs were 70 pounds apiece. So then I said to them, and they were not in good physical shape, right? I said, "How long do you think you could carry that before you started dumping gear?" And that's a reality, right? And so one of the things that I did pick up from that getting together, one person had rat traps in their bug out bag. And I was like, why the rat traps? And he said, you can take that rat trap, put it on a tree, tie it off to the tree, put some peanut butter on there, and you can catch squirrels. And I was like, that's ingenious. And again, that thinking outside the box, right? So when you have a bunch of people that are preparedness minded, you're going to get really good ideas if you're bouncing ideas off each other. Number one, you need to be open to listening to what other people's thoughts are. That's important as well. Um, it's great to have a game plan and all that, but again, listening to other people and taking in that is a really, really good thing. And I think it's really, really important that we always try to stay open minded and not be narrowed in with what we think we need to do. I mean, like I said, there's so many aspects of prepping. Important thing again, and strictly this is my opinion, giving you my opinion. I think barter is going to be a huge, huge thing in a post event. So if I have, and I'm just going to use this as an example, right? I mean, and it's going to depend on the people. Again, if I have 200 rolls of toilet paper and you want toilet paper, right? Or if I have 200 razors, disposable razors, and you want razors, you know, I set the market price realistically. So I don't have to get rid of what I have, but am I willing for the right price to trade you for something that we may have forgotten or we need? Absolutely. It puts you in a really good position to negotiate. So, I would always rather be the guy that has the extra stuff than not have it. I think that's important to think about as well. I recently did some lists. Okay, I'll give you just an example, and I'm going to be doing some more lists as well of things that people don't always think about, like aluminum foil would be just one example. If you have a group or whatever, and this is what we're going to be doing as a group. We're going to be making out some lists, and then people in the group are going to say, okay, I'm going to go get 10 of that. I'm going to go get 10 of this. I'm going to go get, whatever the number of things that we may need. Like a good example would be duct tape, right? Gorilla tape. If I have 10 rolls of gorilla tape, then it gives me a whole lot more options, right? If I have a bunch of tarps, it gives me a lot more options because those tarps are going to break down over time. That's just a fact. Especially as it can get very windy here. So you have to think about those type of things. Think about this, and I have this as well. I do want more, and I do plan on getting more cloth diapers, folks. People are not going to stop having babies after SHTF happens. And if you have cloth diapers, you're going to be able to wash them, hang them up, dry them, and reuse them. You're not going to be going to the store to get a thing of Pampers anymore. That's not going to be an option. So, again, having other choices is going to be really important. Feminine hygiene products is a huge, huge thing. Not only can it be used for wound care, but women are going to need feminine hygiene products. I mean, so it's just that whole trying to think outside the box, trying to think ahead, preparing as best that you can. It's going to be really, really important. My biggest thing for me is I'll give you an example, and this was one of the conversations we had this weekend. Let's say SHTF happens tomorrow, right? End of the world as we know it, and let's say it happens tomorrow. We're going to do a scenario here, okay? And all my people make it here, right? All my people in my group, they're now here. So what are we dealing with, right? Number one, number one, the adjustment of what was normal to the new normal of being here full time. That's an adjustment that people are going to have to make. You could be down here and been a member for 2 years, have your building, and you come down here and you do your 1 weekend a month, and it's great and it's a lot of fun, and we have a good time and we work on projects. Fantastic, right? But now the reality is, holy crap, I'm here full time. So that's an adjustment. Now, your comfort level, right, is going to depend on how well you prepared that building, right? How well you prepared that building. So if you have all the things that you need, your transition from before to the new normal is not going to be as intense. Second thing, all right, and I'm just going to give you three. I'm just going to give you three. The second thing is everybody in this chat, everybody in my group, myself included, we are all going to lose people that we love. Absolutely going to happen. We're all going to lose people that we love. I'm going to say that again because I really want people to think about that. So now, not only are you dealing with, holy crap, it's a new transition into this new environment that now I'm living in full time. Now you're dealing with the loss and processing that loss of people that you care about. So that's number two. And let's go with number three. And what is number three? Now you have to be on guard 24/7 because there will be people out there that are going to want to try to take what you have. So now you have to wrap your mind around being ready, being willing and able to do what you need to do to protect what you have. Because if you don't, somebody's going to come in and they're going to take it. That's a lot of stress, folks. That's a lot of stress. Now, will people adjust? They will. Some people won't. Okay, I'm telling you right now, some people out here that are hardcore preppers and been prepping for years and stuff like that, they're not going to be able to handle the adjustment. So, like for me, the only adjustment from the first part of it, right? I live this full time. So that's not an adjustment for me. I shower outside, right? Or I heat up water and I shower inside. Whatever I need to do, I've already been doing it for years. So that's not a big adjustment for me. That's not. It's no adjustment. The only adjustment for me would be no internet, no phone. That's it, and I don't have to go to work anymore. That's the adjustment for me in that type of scenario. But psychologically dealing with losing loved ones, that's going to be tough on everybody. And then having people wanting to try to come in here and take what we have, you got to be ready to be able to do what you need to do. And mentally, you have to prepare yourself for that. You have to think about that. If you don't think about it, it's like when people, well, if I don't think about it, it's not real. Well, the reality is things are going to happen. And so you better be ready for that. So, but again, that's what it comes down to. Be very cautious when bartering. Those bad people will use this session to figure out what you have. Now, again, JJ, you're not going to bring somebody in, sit them down, and show them everything, right? You're not going to do that. You're not going to say, "Oh, here's my inventory," and let you see what I got. You're going to do a sit down somewhere, and you're going to say, "What do you need?" Right? And they may have a list of, "Well, this is what we need." And you can look at that list and say, well, we might be able to help you with this, or we might be able to help you with that. And then, you strike the bargain, and then you meet again. They bring what you want and you bring what they want. And, obviously it would have to be high security, and those type of things, and under a very controlled setting. So like, if I said, okay, well, here's the deal, you come back alone, all right, with what you're planning on bringing, and then I'm going to be here and I'll have what you want. You may have to do something like that. So, a test for everyone on the grid: go over to the breaker box and flip the breaker off for a weekend. People will find out really fast how much they are ready. Oh, absolutely, Delbert. You're 100% correct. And people won't do that. They won't turn their phone off for the weekend. They won't disconnect from the system for a weekend because it's scary. It's terrifying for most people. Again, are we 100% ready down here? No, not even close. I mean, and there's so many things that I want to do here yet. Um, but we're focusing now on what I feel. Okay, now we worked on the bunker this weekend. No, we be working on the bunker again? We will. Okay, but the priority right now, in my opinion, again, strictly my opinion, and my group feels the same way because we've had these discussions, getting these buildings squared away. So if you come down here, you're only coming down here for once a week or one weekend a month, and all day Saturday we're working on other projects and you're not getting an opportunity to work on your place, what are you getting done? You're not. So making sure that people have time to work on. Now I've have like an example, Rob. Rob's still here. Rob will be here until Wednesday, and then he's going to be heading home Wednesday. He took extra days off so he can focus on what he needs to do on his place. And that's, and Mark was down here early this time. Roy was down here for a week. So, people are getting the things in place, doing the things that they need to do to be ready. And that's really important. And sometimes you have to sacrifice time to be able to do that. There's just really, like Mark said, he goes, I could have a month and be down here for a month and still not get everything done that I want to get done. Like I said, but here's the reality too. Hey, John, a friend of mine thinks AOC should run for president. I have been trying to get him to see how bad things are getting. My mom also thinks prepping is for crazy people. I'm baffled by stupidity levels. Thank you very much, Josh, for the donation, and thank you for the statement. I honestly, I'm with you. I don't understand the mindset. I never have understood the mindset of not preparing. And I don't care if you're a liberal, a Democrat, Republican, independent, hardcore conservative, whatever your stance is, right? I everybody should be preparing because again, we just don't know. And just a small amount of preparedness can make a difference if you live or die. I mean, when they do the scenarios and say that if a year from an event, if an event happens and a year from that event, that 90% of the people would be dead. I don't think that's unrealistic. I really don't. Because again, you have the haves and the have-nots. And when things go sideways, and here's something else, a fallacy that I think a lot of people will never understand and they won't get this, but I will try to explain this. They talk about the golden horde coming out of the cities and swamping the countryside and eating everything in their path and killing whoever's in their way. That's a fallacy, folks. Okay, that is a fallacy because that's not going to happen. Will some people try to escape the cities? Yes, absolutely, there will be some. But when the first accident happens in the George Washington Bridge, the tunnels coming out or into New York City, when those accidents happen and nobody's moving the cars, and now you have people are going to abandon those cars and go on foot, right? Or they're going to go back into the city. A lot of people are going to stay where it's familiar. A lot of people will be in denial in the beginning of a true SHTF event. That's something you need to think about too. They're going to be in denial. So they're going to go, I'm just going to stay home. I'm going to stay here and we're going to see what happens. And that's the worst possible thing that you could do as a prepper, as somebody trying to be ready. You need to get to your bug out location or where you have plans to work together with family or whatever the case may be. That's where you need to get. You don't want to be hung out to dry in your apartment and then all of a sudden it's not that you say, okay, now I want to leave. Now you can't leave, right? You can't leave. And it's dangerous to be out on the streets because the gangs are going to be out there. You got to understand with the gangs, they're already organized, folks. They're already organized and they don't care. They'll do whatever they need to do. So, what do you think is going to happen in big cities? You're going to see a lot of stuff. Hey, Julie, thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We have to use this. That's what we have to use. And if that means you got to get out of that city on foot and figure out some way to get out of there, that's what you really need to do. And so there's not going to be this golden horde. And where are they going? I want you to think about. Let's say if we have 100,000 people escape New York City, where are they going? Do they have a destination in mind? There, people are not just going to go, yeah, come on in, we're going to take you in. That's fine. People are going to shoot first and ask questions later. That's something to think about as well. All right, well, what we're going to do now, real quick, I'm going to ask for another thumbs up again. We're at 478 in the chat. We got 251 thumbs up. Just for fun, let's see if we can hit 300 before we got like 15 minutes to go here, guys. So let's see if we can hit 300 thumbs up before we jump off of here. Again, I thank you for that. It really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. The more interaction, the better it is for the channel. So thank you for that as well. Again, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. All right, so let's go ahead and do the egg count today. Again, I have 5 hens, okay? How many eggs today? And did Miss Betty White lay? She is my one hen that lays white eggs. Okay, so let's see what everybody says here. So how many eggs and yes or no did Miss Betty White lay? I'll give you guys a little bit of time, and I'm going to take a drink of green tea in the meantime. And we're up to 272 on the thumbs up, so we need 28 more thumbs up to hit 300. So let's, for fun, see if we hit 300. Just want you guys to know too, I don't just talk prepping, right? I live this. This is my lifestyle. I've been living off grid for 10 years now. All right. So it's just not like a new phenomena for me. And I've learned so much in that time frame. It is amazing, to be honest with you. I've learned so much. And I'm grateful for that. I really, really am. Because again, when that time comes, it's going to make all the difference in the world for success or failure. It really, really is. All right, guys, if you had the same exact guess as Critter Lover, all right, Critter Lover Jess, with 0 eggs today, so no for Miss Betty White, then you are 100% correct. And I think she was the only one realistically that I saw that said 0. Chickens are molting. So what does that mean? It means they're regrowing feathers. So when they start doing that, in preparation for winter, what that means is they take all their energy goes towards regrowing the feathers and not producing eggs. And every fall, time frame, that's what happens. So congratulations to Critter Lover Jess. You've won absolutely nothing, but you are happy. So there we go. So, but again, there is a lot to it. What I love to have sheep down here. And why sheep over goats, right? Sheep aren't going to try to escape like goats are going to try to escape. We could use the wool to make more clothing, which would be paramount long term in a true SHTF event. You better have a way to make more clothes, because if you don't, you're wearing your clothes out eventually. That's a fact, okay? They will wear out eventually. So those are things to think about as well. Also, again, just I'd like to have, like I said, sheep. We already have chickens. Obviously, we would want more in that type of an event. The first thing, I have incubators here. The first thing I would do, the first 2 dozen eggs would go into incubators to produce more hens. We're not going to wait until they get, broody, and hopefully some would. But again, having enough squared away and ready is going to make a difference. Again, I would love to have meat rabbits down here. Because not only is their poop great that you can put it right on, right away on the, garden. It's a great fertilizer. You can still use the pelts as well, but you also are going to get the meat, but it's a lean meat. There is no fat. So you've got to have a fat source in your diet. So you have to think about that as well. It's just, there's a lot to it. There's a lot that goes into it. And again, now once you have animals, there's a lot of upkeep with animals. So they cost money, so, but again, it's just making sure you have plenty of socks, long johns, extra clothing, layering. Layering is going to be huge, especially if we're going to be spending a lot of time outside. And you're going to be spending a lot more time outside because there's not going to be no TV to be watching. You're going to have things that you're going to have to do. So Denise said, Ed, stocking up on thick fabric would be prudent. You're right. I mean, there's a lot of things that go with everything. Like I don't throw out old clothes. I box them up and set them aside, and that time comes. We would obviously utilize whatever we could possibly utilize at that point. And like I said, we're trying to organize things in like I said, obviously making sure we have more than enough food because my thing with that comes down to we're going to be taking new people in. I honestly believe we would. Okay, because here's one of the things people say. Well, your group is all older. You're all a bunch of older people, which you're right. We are a bunch of older people in this group. But our youngest member's 26. Okay, there would be plenty of people willing to come in to work for food, okay, and shelter and protection and those type of things. There's going to be a lot of orphan children out there, folks, in a true SHTF event that their parents are gone. They're not around anymore, okay, and nobody's going to be there to take care of these kids. Well, if you take those kids in and you take care of them, that loyalty that they're going to have for you and your group to protect and keep you guys safe is huge. What us older folks bring to the table is knowledge. We've been living our lives and we know different things what to do when we would be passing that knowledge down to these younger people. And, it's again, it takes a team, it takes a village. You think you're going to be Joe Solo Rambo on your own and just go off into the woods? Good luck. I wish you the best of luck because as soon as you get hurt or you get sick, that stops everything. If you have a group of people, and let's say you have 20 people in your group, right? And right now, five of them are sick. Five of them are down, they're out of commission, so they're in the infirmary. You have a designated area that you are using as your infirmary, right? So you keep them separated so they don't get everybody else sick. Well, you still have enough people to be able to do daily chores, stand watches, do whatever you got to do until they're able to recover. When you are thinking about, here's what you have to think about too. The people coming to try to take your stuff, most likely, okay, they're not going to be well rested. They're not going to be having been eating properly, right? They're going to be having been exposed to the weather, so there's going to be a lot of sickness. They're not going to be thinking clearly. Where if you are in a location that you're there and you're getting proper rest and you're eating every day and you're sharp and your mind is sharp, that advantage alone is huge in a situation because you can think clearly and rationally and you are not going on panic and emotion. What you're doing is you're defending what you have. Where these people are desperate, they're scared. And again, I've mentioned this before too, and I'm going to mention this again. The most dangerous person in a true SHTF situation, okay, it's not your Green Beret that has all the skills in the world and he knows what he's doing, okay. That is not the most dangerous person. The most dangerous person is the one that is scared and desperate and has nothing to lose, okay, because they don't care. And if you have something and they want it, they're going to do whatever they can do to get it. So you need to be prepared to make sure they don't get it. And if you have to do that with extreme prejudice, if you know what I mean by saying that, then that's what you better wrap your mind around because these people in that situation are going to be in desperate straits. So it's not going to be a fun time. It is not going to be a fun time. Again, Trump winning the so I wanted to bring this up too, okay? Because I had people like oh well you don't vote and blah blah blah, but yet you're happy Trump won. I want you guys to remember something, guys. Okay, it's not about Trump. Okay, it's not about Trump. It's about policies. That's what it's about. I have never voted. I never will vote. I will tell you that. I don't care. I ain't doing it. Okay, not doing it because I don't believe in the system. I believe it's corrupted. I think that there's a ton of issues. Politicians become corrupted, a lot of them. There's a lot of greed and everything else that goes in together with that. But anyway, what I look at what Trump is offering, right? And when the first time he became elected, did he not follow through on the promises that he made? Yes, he did. Just because the left is losing their minds and they're all, oh my God, it's the end of the world and he's going to be the next Hitler and a dictator and all that crap. No, okay. I don't believe that. I honestly don't, okay. If he does what he says he's going to do, I think we're going to be better off as a country, okay. If he doesn't, well, then guess what? He can't be reelected again because this is going to be a second term. And so 8 years and you're done. So we'll see what happens moving forward. Um, do I believe we have a chance with him as president? I absolutely do. Absolutely 100% do. Okay. I think we're definitely in much better shape than we would have been with Harris. That would have been a nightmare and it would have been a disaster. In my opinion, strictly, I'm just giving you my opinion, okay? And it's not because she's a woman, okay? Somebody like Candace Owens, very, very intelligent woman. I could see somebody like her down the road running for, president and getting elected because she has a brain in her head, okay? And she didn't get there by getting down on her knees. So that's another thing with that. So it's just you have to you look at the situation. And again, I'm going to say this again. I've said this before. These are the best candidates people can come up with, realistically, right? There's nobody else. We have what 330 million people in this country. So I just I think we're in good hands with him as president. I do not believe Biden was running the show. That's again strictly my opinion. I don't know who's pulling the strings behind the doors, but Trump is not a guy that I believe that they can control. So they don't like that. Trust me, the people that really run things, they don't like that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm happy he won. Put it out there. I don't care if you like it or you don't like it, whatever. I have an opinion like everybody else has an opinion. And, just because I don't vote doesn't mean I don't get an opinion. Well, you don't get any say because you don't vote. Well, that's nonsense. I get more of a say. You know why? Because I didn't pick nobody. Right. So, if he goes in and does a crap job, then what are we going to blame everybody that voted for him? Well, it was your fault. You voted for him. I didn't. Right. So, it's just a game. It's a big game, folks. And if you believe, in the system, good for you. And I'm glad you do what you do. And that's perfectly fine. But it'll be really interesting moving forward to see how things go. So we got 435 in the chat. We got 310 thumbs up. So we did get over 300. So thank you. So appreciate that. But if you want to throw a little bit more up there and see to get it a little bit higher, that's awesome. That would be cool. So I do appreciate that. Again, it really does make a huge difference with the algorithms. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I do appreciate that. Again, real quick, I'm going to say I will be live streaming on Tuesday. It's 6 o'clock for hardcore members and at 8 o'clock for everybody else. So I would encourage you all to join me again on Tuesday at 8 o'clock. If you would like to be in that, if you want to be part of the private live stream, you go to my main page here on YouTube. You hit the join button, become a hardcore member. And that is a very private chat that I've been doing for a couple of years now. And we enjoy that. We have a really good time. And in the private chat, they get a little bit more inside information on different things. And so that's what we do. So that's a lot of fun. So anyway, but remember, folks, I want you to remember this. We truly are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. If we ever figured that one out, we truly would be in much, much better shape. Also, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really, really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you were trying to accomplish, whatever you were trying to do in life, the only person that's going to stop you from achieving your goals is you. So, that's why I say STD, step, thing, and day. If you work methodically and set realistic goals that can be reached, you can accomplish anything that you want to. We moved down here. Well, me and the dog moved down here. I bought this property 3 years ago, and I had a whole bunch of people tell me, "No way, you're too old to start over again. It's never going to work." And I'm going to tell you what, I could not be prouder than the people that I've associated myself with down here as a group. What we've already got accomplished has been amazing. She's right here. Hella's right here. It's been amazing. And we got a long way to go, but we're going to get there. So, yeah, you can start over, folks, at any age. There is no limitations except for the limitations you put on yourself. Keep prepping. Take care of your business. I hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now. Bye. What, baby?